everyone, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, normally I start off my videos by showing you something that I've made, but today I'm going to be a little bit different because I want to talk to you about Stampin' Up catalogue, because as well as being a wonderful source of all sorts of fabulous materials for stamping and for paper crafting, it's also a wonderful source of ideas. And we call it casing, which stands for copy and share everything, and you can definitely take what's in the catalogue and case it or use it as inspiration. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. Now I'm going to be taking this card here as my inspiration, so I'm just going to go and get on with it, and when I've finished I'll come back to it and I'll show you what I've made. So stay with me and let's see how it turns out. This is very vanilla and I've cut it to 2 inches, and it's about 4 inches long, but that doesn't really matter because I'm going to be chopping the end off anyway. So I'm starting to begin with, I'm going to rub over the surface of the card with my embossing buddy. Just something I usually forget because I am going to be embossing today. So I've got the oak leaves stamp from Lovely as a Tree, and I'm just inking it up with my Versamark. So just checking to make sure that that's all covered. I think I've got a good coating on there now. So I'm just going to come in from this side and press down, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make sure that that's transferred well. And I'm just turning that to the light so that I can see that I've got a good image, which I have. Got my copper embossing powder, and I'm working on grid paper today. So brush off those couple of little spots where it's caught, and now I'm going to heat emboss it. So I'm bring out my silicone mat to protect my table somewhat. Pretty lush. I want to give this some colour, so I've got my mini Marvellous markers here and a blender pen. And what colour shall I have? I think I'm going to start off with some Old Olive. Whoops, got an email. Now, I've said before that I am not a colourer-innerer, because I don't spend hours with those gorgeous colouring books that you can get and colouring in all of the, all of those beautiful mandala patterns, and I can't be bothered. And I see people who do wonderful things with alcohol markers, and I just don't have the patience. But working this way with a blender pen and using my markers just to just got them on my clear block there just as a palette, and just gently giving things a little bit of colour, I find works for me. Right, now I want that to be quite dark in there because I've got one leaf overlaid on top of another, so I'm going to be a bit careful with that. Just trying to give that a little bit of dimension. Okay. Now you can use a water brush, you can use a common old brush and brush in a pot of water, just like you used to when we were children. You can do all of those things. And if you have alcohol markers, Stampin' Up! Don't sell them anymore. We used to, but we had production difficulties that we just couldn't resolve. So we don't sell them no more. So you could use those. Of course you could. This is pumpkin pie. I'm just kind of layering up the colour here, because I want it to look like the leaf is just about to turn. And the other thing is that I am using very vanilla cardstock. Normally when you're watercolouring, you need to use something. We have just scribble it off on a bit of scrap paper. You need to use something like, let me have a think, shimmering white or actual watercolour paper, and then you can really layer the colours on. But when you're using excuse me, and I'm going to get another set of pens. When you're using something like like a very vanilla, you have to be a little bit more gentle with it. Okay, so I want to overlay this with some colour, and let me see, this is Sahara Sand, I think. Yep, no, Crumb Cake. This is Crumb Cake. Sahara Sand is the lighter one. Okay, so I'm just scribbling that on my block, and every time I change colours, I'm still using the same blender pen, all I do is just wipe it off, just rub it on a bit of scrap paper until it's clean. That's all there is to it. I'm using Thoughtful Banners, and I've chosen You Amaze Me as my sentiment. Now what I love about this is you could pretty much make up almost any message that you actually wanted to. You could have a inspiring Father's Day, or you could have a blessed holiday. You could have anything you wanted to. Okay, there's all sorts of sentiments here, and what I like here as well is for us Brits, we have mum as well as the American mom. So that works very well for us, because we don't say mom over here, we say mum, or actually I say mam, because mam is actually the Welsh word for mother. So right, so I have basic black ink, and I've already mounted these up on my stamp, and because they're photopolymer, I can see exactly where they're going to go. And I've put them kind of as though they're leaves falling from a tree. That's kind of my inspiration, and it also means that they don't have to be dead straight. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got my silicone mat underneath, and that is pretty good. Slightly smudged, but do you know what? I'm willing to take it for this card, because I think it actually works. Right, okay, so one more thing before we can put this panel away, and that is, let's move that out of the way, my triple banner punch. So I'm just going to slide this into the groove. So I cut my card to 2 inches wide deliberately, and I'm going to just chop off the ends. Okay, and there is my banner. This is Old Olive card, and I've just chopped a piece of A4 in half and then folded it at the halfway mark, and I've marked in 1/2 inch from each edge, and I've put a pencil line there. I will rub that out afterwards. I'm working on grid paper, because I want to do a bit of masking and stamping off and so on and so forth. And I'm using this stamp set, Lovely as a Tree, which has been in the Stampin' Up range for many years, and I'm using the oak leaf stamp with the oak leaf and acorns. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to tuck that underneath my piece of grid paper to make absolutely sure I can't get anything at all on the back of it, and I'm going to mask it off with some post-it notes. So that's where I'm going to be stamping. I have old olive stamp, old olive ink, and just inking up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp this multiple times across my card. So I'll speed this bit up. I've got some empty spaces here and there, and so I'm going to use this stamp, which is also from the same set, and I'm just going to fill those in. Okay, now I'm going to cover up the bit that I just stamped with a post-it note. And I've got my sponge dauber, my finger dauber, and my old olive ink pad. And I'm just going to, very lightly, work on the post-it note and just kind of create a drop shadow along here. Taking a fine liner pen, which is 0.1, which is the finest one that I happen to have, and I'm just going to draw a line just around the outside of my stamped area, and I'm doing this by eye. I want it, I don't care that it's a bit wiggly. I'm just starting, I'm just keeping my eye on where I want to go, and I'm just wiggling along. I'm just letting it happen, and I'm just working my way around the card. Go. Before I put it all together, I want to get some of this onto it, which is our fine copper thread, and it is very fine. I don't even know if you can see it when it's spun out. There it is. Okay, so it's fairly interesting stuff, shall we say. So to use it, I'm going to put a little bit of fast fuse on the back of my card where I want it to go. Woo! Come back. And I'm going to start my thread off on there, and now I'm just going to wrap it round and around and around a few times until I think I've got enough, and I think that'll do. Well, I finished this off with a bit of burlap ribbon and some bits of natural trim in the gold, and I just stuck fast fuse on the back and just pushed them down, and I'm just going to apply this to the front of my card with a stapler, and I'm going to pop it up so it's a little bit proud of the top, and just staple it on, and there it is. Okay, so here is my finished card, and if I bring this back in, that was my inspiration. And as you can see, I took some of the elements, but I changed up some of the others, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe to my blog or like my Facebook page, details are underneath this video, and that's where you'll find a link to my Stampin' Up shop as well. But I do hope that you have enjoyed this project, and if so, then please visit me again, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.